If you've ever tried to change your behaviors, your habits, your relationships, and watched everything slide back to the way it was, this chapter explains why. Nothing changes until the core beliefs change. This is chapter 7 of There is a Hole in My Love Cup, a ship across the ocean. Quick note, this is for reflection and education, not therapy or medical advice. Chapter 7, A Ship Crossing the Ocean. The reason I call myself a spiritual counselor is because, above all else, I believe in the power of core beliefs. I realized early on that if you really want to change someone, be it yourself or another, both what they do and what they feel, there is no hope if you simply try to change their actions. I saw it in the military as a D1 athlete and as an NCAA head coach for strength and conditioning, as well as in all of my years as a spiritual counselor, pastor, and emergency room chaplain. Until the core beliefs driving the bad behaviors and crummy feelings are changed, nothing changes, at least not to any lasting degree. Thus, I am in the business of drilling down to identifying and cutting out those core beliefs that are so obviously not working for my clients. Then, of course, new beliefs have to be inserted that actually serve my client. Before a person's external life can be life giving, the root causes driving the system must be life giving. See, at the core of who a person is are core beliefs, generally the ones people are most aware of, even if they don't actually think about them very often. As you progress up through a person's self, you next encounter what most people consider their principles, and finally, on top are the behaviors or actions. It is in this realm of principles and actions that most people spend their bulk of their time. What they think, what their goals and wants are, what their values are, and how they shape their identity, at least to any conscious degree, all fall into the realms of principles, which they then see as shapers of their actions. The problem is, most principles are just backfill. That is, I no longer believe that principle matter for much, at least when it comes to the question of what really drives a person's actions and creates happiness and fulfillment. What is really driving actions is people's core beliefs. Their deep beliefs about life, self, people, and the world, as well as their fears and dreams. But because beliefs by definition can neither be proven nor disproven, or can be both proven and disproved, i.e., because they are not always tangible or logical, they become much more sketchy to defend and live by when a person is being criticized by the important people in his or her life.
So, let me ask you something. Have you ever felt like you're doing all the things to manifest? Journaling, visualizing, raising your vibe, but your dream still feels like a really cute cloud that just keeps drifting out of reach? That's not your fault. You're manifesting with Jupiter, the planet of expansion, of vision, of dreaming big and feel good. And yes, Jupiter is the party. It's that high frequency energy that says, you can have more. You are meant for more. But here's the truth. Jupiter gives you the dream, but Saturn builds the damn road. Saturn is structure. Saturn is systems. Saturn is showing up even when you don't feel like it. Saturn says, you want it? Cool. Let's get to work. Real manifestation? It's a cosmic collab. Jupiter for the vision, Saturn for the follow through. You don't just need the vibe. You need the vessel to hold it. So ask yourself, are you dreaming or building? The universe isn't just listening, it's watching what you build. Manifestation isn't just vibes, it's engineering your evolution. Inside the Alchemist Laboratory, we don't just vibe high and journal pretty affirmations. We build systems for your soul. We map transits into the body using your solar map so you know when to dream and when to design. And we help you create sustainable magic, not just spiritual highs.
Therefore, people create principles based on some measure of logic to justify the actions that are really springing out of the core beliefs and fears. Principles are the pretty face that we put on to sell our actions. And the simplest way to understand the sheer power of core beliefs is to imagine a ship traveling across the ocean or two. If that ship's navigation is off just 3 or 4 degrees at the start of the journey, the ship will get farther and farther off course, the greater the distance it travels. A ship leaving from Los Angeles for Hawaii will end up somewhere in China or even Russia. Both are great countries, but you are going to be terrifically underdressed when you arrive. Same with even the slightest changes in the deep beliefs of the soul. If those deepest beliefs are changed by the time they pass up through the principles and actions, the person's external life starts looking radically different from how it used to look. It diverges immensely from the life of even a close relative or sibling who got a very similar set of original core beliefs. This is why going down to the deep beliefs when you're trying to turn your life around always has the greatest and most lasting effects. It's changing the input into the navigational system of your soul that was misprogrammed when you were growing up. And it is why changes only to behavior, such as when a spouse threatens to leave, never last. The core beliefs never change. So the person will pretty much always revert back to actions that reflect the core beliefs. This is also why change and growth can be so scary and so disruptive to relationships and families. People with new beliefs no longer fit. So either the other surrounding people must change, or the one who has changed must be forced back to what they were or expelled. All lasting change is completely contingent upon changing those core beliefs. Journaling recommendations. 1. What are the few examples from your past where the slightest shift in your core beliefs resulted in dramatic shift in your actions and thus the results and events in your life? 2. What are the areas of your life where you most need to make a shift of a few degrees in your beliefs? What is the single biggest core belief, to the degree any one person can be aware of their own core beliefs, harming your life? 3. What would those shifts in belief look like? 4. What is the single biggest thing holding you back from doing so? What is your biggest fear in considering doing so? Song recommendation. Give this one a listen. It's all about the drilling down. It's all about your real, truest self, deep down inside, yearning to come out. I'm in here by Sia. Take a moment to notice what stirred for you as you listened. You don't need to fix it or understand it yet. If this resonated, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment. I'd love to hear what stood out for you. You can also find the full series and my work linked below.